So today's class is a continuation of the last class, which is actually what we have on the board. Now, if you missed the last class, you have to go back and watch it before you can understand this new class that we want to teach today. So I'm going to wipe this off, and then I'm going to create an object for this class. I'm going to create an object of this class, and then I'm going to use that object to call this method, which will now go ahead and calculate and do all this display for me. So to understand this class, you must watch the previous class, which is the last class. Okay. Now, in this class, what we want to do in this class is just to, we are still on static method. What we want to do in this class is just to create an object, right, of the interbank transfer, and then use it to call the process method, right? Before we create the object of that class, of the interbank transfer class, the first thing we have to do is we have to create a variable called transfer amount. Transfer amount. Now, this variable is going to receive the amount that needs to be transferred. So what I will do is I will call int, then I will say input amount. Just say, I will say enter amount, right? Okay, so this is a variable that I've created. Now, what is the function of this variable? I want this enter amount to be displayed on the screen so that the user will enter the amount. So once you see enter amount, you run the script, you see enter amount, and then you put in 20,000, for example. Now that 20,000 that you are inputting, in Python, any input data, right, is going to be seen as a string. And you know, what we are doing in our system is calculation. So if you supply a string, it will throw you an error. So what is the first thing that will happen? I have to typecast it. I have to convert that string, the amount that you will enter, even if it is 20,000. I have to typecast it to what? To integer. That is why I'm putting this int function to typecast the amount that I'm going to put into integer. Then this is created. Now I'm going to instantiate that what? Interbank transfer. I will just simply call it transfer. That is the object, transfer. Then I'm going to call that my class, which is what? Interbank. This is the class, interbank transfer. What am I going to supply to this class? I'm going to supply this transfer. Transfer amount. This is what I'm going to supply. So now the object has been created for the class. Now I want you to note something here. Remember that in my interbank class is expecting, I want to instantiate the class. So I am taking this amount. Now, once I supply this transfer amount, so the user is going to supply say maybe 20,000. 20,000 will be stored here. So this variable is what I am giving to this interbank transfer, meaning I am creating an object for this class. Then it will go into the class, the init method. It will supply this transfer amount to the what? To the amount. And then this transfer will go to what? To self. And then it will go in. And then it will create what? Transfer dot amount, which is what? The amount that is going to be. Is assign this. So the attribute of this object will store the value that we are going to give here. Are you with me? Now, inside this class, then I am going to use this transfer to call the method that is inside this interbank transfer. Like I said, if you have not watched the last class, you will not understand what we are doing here. So you have to go and watch the previous video before you come to this video. Now, this transfer, which is this object, will now be used to access the process transfer method that is inside this interbank class. So, process underscore transfer method, right? It's going to call it. So once you do transfer.process transfer, it will go in, and then this transfer will be given to self, because this process transfer was actually process underscore transfer expecting self, right? And then you go in. Now, this has ended. I'm just showing you what was inside this method. So inside this method, we calculated the cybersecurity amount, and then we calculated the total amount that was now eventually going to be transferred, and then we instructed it to print out. So the first thing that we say you should print out was what? Print out um, print out interbank transfer, interbank transfer successful, right? So it's to print this out. Then to print out, what was the second thing we say you should print out? You should print out the cyber secure, the amount to be transferred. So if the amount to be transferred is 20,000, it will print out 20,000. Then to print out the cyber security amount that is calculated. So 0.005 of 20,000, it will print out 100, but it will print it out in float. So this one will be in float, this one will be in float. Then it will now print out the last one. What was the eventual amount that was transferred? So 20,000, then you remove 100, so it will remain 19,900. So this is the amount that eventually will be transferred for you, because 100 naira will be removed from 20,000 naira and you'll be left with 19,900. This will be the final amount that your bank will transfer to the other bank. So that is what I wanted to demonstrate to you in this class. Because looking at this class now, you can see that we are calling this class, but this process is using what was inside, is calling another method inside the what? The central bank class. So if you watch the two videos together, you'll be able to understand what we've done. I wanted to demonstrate how you practically use the static method, right, to do this job. That is what I want to show you in this class. So in the next class, or we'll go to the PyCharm, and then I will demonstrate to you in the PyCharm the entire process flow. So let's go to the PyCharm and see that. Okay, so this is our PyCharm. Actually, I've written the cybersecurity script. So because I don't want the video to be too long, I'm just going to open the script and then explain the script to you instead of writing it all over again. All right, so this is it. Security. So this is our cybersecurity script, like what I taught you on the board. So this is the class central bank that we've created, and then these are comments just to show you static variable to store the cybersecurity fee rate. Now this is a class attribute, which is a class variable. Cybersecurity fee rate 0.005, which is what? 0.5%. Now we are going to declare a static method, which is what? Calculate cybersecurity fee, and is expecting one parameter, explicit parameter that are given to it, which is what? Amount. And now, what is it going to return? It's going to return amount times cybersecurity fee rate. But this cybersecurity fee rate is inside the central bank class. So that is why you are putting central bank dot cybersecurity fee rate times amount. That is what it's going to return. So that class has been created. Now I'm creating the what? The interbank transfer class. And inside this class, I have two methods. The first method is the init method, which is going to what? Instantiate the object of this class. So self expecting two parameters, self and amount. The amount that will be given will be supplied to the self.amount, which is what? The attribute of the object. That will be stored. Then I created what? The second method, which is what? Process transfer. This is an instance method, which is expecting just one parameter, which is what? Self. And then inside it, I'm going to calculate the what? The cybersecurity fee. So I created a variable that will hold it. Then I call the central bank dot calculate cybersecurity fee, which is actually this method, right? And then since it's expecting one parameter, which is amount, so I'm supplying self.amount, which is what? This self.amount here to it. So it's going to calculate it and store it here. Then total amount is what? That amount minus cybersecurity fee. So once that is done, then I'm going to print this out. Everything here is under this method, which is what? Process transfer. So print, then interbank transfer process successfully. That will be printed. Then print transfer amount, because this is a format string. So it's going to check this process, self.amount. That will be the amount that you will give. Then also print out cybersecurity fee, which is what is here, what is stored here, is what you are getting here. Then print out total amount transferred. This one is a string that will be printed on the screen. Then it will now check this process, total amount, which is what? This total amount. So here now I'm going to instantiate this class, creating an object for this interbank transfer. But before I do that, I created a variable, and that variable I'm saying int input, enter the amount. So enter the amount is what is going to print out on the screen. But whatever amount I enter will be a string. So I have to convert it to what? To an integer. That's what I'm doing, this typecasting. Then I'll store it in this transfer amount. So when I instantiate that class, which is what? Transfer. This is the object that I've created for the interbank transfer class. Is expecting an amount, which is what? This transfer amount I've given to it. Now I need to take this transfer and give it to what? To self. I need to take this transfer amount, which is what I have given now, it will put it inside this amount. Then it will go in and assign that amount to the attribute of this object, which is the attribute of the transfer. Then I am calling this object transfer.process transfer, which is what? This method inside this class. So when it comes in, it will now do central bank.calculate security fee. That amount is going to be supplied here. It's going to be supplied here. Then it will go in and you say amount multiplied by this. It will return that value to this what? To this calling method. And then it will go in and do all this calculation and print out everything that you are seeing here on the screen. So if I execute this script, you're just going to see, first it will ask me enter amount. Then I will type 20,000. Then I will press enter on my keyboard. So you see, it will calculate, it will print out interbank transfer process successfully. Transfer amount 20,000. Cybersecurity fee 100. Total amount transferred 19,900. That is what that program is showing to you. So that is what I wanted to demonstrate to you in this class. So if you enjoyed this class, do not forget to click on the like button. So till we see in the next class, bye bye.